Hi, in this specific video, I want to discuss about SARC. As we know, the definition of SARC is SARC is actually a regional forum which consists of the South Asian nations, namely India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. So, SARC is a regional forum which was established, I think, in around 1998. And this regional forum has actually till now been going through around we can say 13 sessions lately. But lately we have seen that there are various defects under SARC. The most primary limitation that has arisen is that regional consensus of SARC is lately being falling apart. And why it is so? It has been happening because there has been a sense of polarization within the SARC countries. And this polarization is occurring mainly due to two reasons. One is China and the other is Pakistan. We have seen that China is not a member of SARC, but it has an outer influence on each and every SARC nations. So China has lately exerted its we can say political and economic influence towards these SARC nations, and as a result of which SARC, as we have seen, has been bifurcating. Some of the nations are becoming pro-China and some of them are becoming anti-China. And the second influence is Pakistan. Pakistan, as we have seen, has a specific amount of enmity with India. And India, as we have seen, is a very vital member of SARC. Or in other words, it can be seen that India is actually a regional leader under the SARC program. So what happens is that Pakistan is very ambivalent, or it is very, we can say, skeptical regarding India's leadership in SARC. So Pakistan, through its own political influence, has tried to bifurcate or polarize the entire SARC forum. And how Pakistan is doing so? Pakistan is doing so through creating various or throwing various allegations against India. And some of the specific allegations is the allegations on India's internal, we can say, heavy-handedness across Jammu and Kashmir. So this is the reason why SARC, as we have seen, which was a very predominant regional forum, has lately been bifurcating and has been being off track from its objectives and goals. So what is the lately outcome of it? The lately outcome, we have seen that there can be both political as well as economic repercussions towards it. The political repercussions, as we all know, is that there will not be a collective rights-based approach towards regionalism in South Asian nations. If a collective right-based approach doesn't happen across the South Asian nations, then what will happen is that there will be a we can say there will be a conflict or a stress between democratic ideology and authoritarianism among the Southeast Asian nations. This democratic versus dictatorial or authoritarianism can arise because we have seen that many of the Southeast Asian nations, and specifically Myanmar, is a dictatorial or a militaristic regime. But there are other democratic nations too, specifically India, which can be considered as a leader in democratic institutionalism, and also Nepal, which is recently being having its own constitution. So if a political collectivism cannot be arised within the SARC nations, then it can be said that there will be a rift between democracy and authoritarianism sentiments. So this is the political fallout of it. And the economic fallout is that the inter-regional trade will simply not happen as it should happen. So we have seen that only 15% of trade among the Southeast Asian nations is actually happening, which is abysmally low compared to the inter-regional trade across BRICS or the other Asian nations. Actually, in BRICS, the inter-regional trade happens on a percentage of 60 to 70%, which is, and if you compare it with the SAARC nations, where the interregional trade only happens at around 15%. So we can just compare what is the difference on the economic prospects between these two regional organizations. So these are the facets through which we have seen that SAARC has bifurcated its core values and objectives. Thank you.